There are moments in life so pure, so utterly unexpected, that they pierce through the noise of the world and remind you of the simple, undeniable beauty of connection. Moments that unfold quietly, without fanfare, yet leave an indelible mark on your soul. This is a story about one such moment, a seemingly ordinary afternoon in a bustling city park, where two lives, worlds apart, converged in a way that defied all expectations. It's about a bond that formed without words, a connection forged in an instant, proving that love and understanding often transcend all barriers, even those of species. One was a young man, a bustling professional lost in the fast-paced rhythm of modern life, his days filled with schedules and screens, his heart, perhaps a little hardened by the city's indifference. The other, a small, timid creature, vulnerable and lost, navigating a world too big and too harsh for its tiny frame. They were strangers, separated by species, by circumstance, by every logical measure. Yet something profound was about to unfold between them, a silent exchange that would melt hearts, both their own and ours. This isn't just a tale of rescue. It's a testament to the universal language of compassion, the instant recognition of innocence, and the profound impact of a single, tender interaction. But what if a brief encounter with a creature in need can unlock a hidden depth of emotion you never knew you possessed? What if a single moment of unadulterated kindness can reshape your entire perspective on love, on connection, on the very essence of what it means to be truly compassionate? This is the extraordinary, deeply moving story of Michael and a tiny life that desperately needed him. Prepare to be incredibly touched, because this is a heartfelt chronicle about the moment that will truly melt your heart. Michael was a rising star in the corporate world. His days were a whirlwind of early morning workouts, strategic meetings, client calls, and late-night emails. He lived in a sleek, minimalist apartment, his life as organized and efficient as his digital calendar. He was driven, ambitious, and successful by every measurable standard. He found solace in control, in precision, in the predictable rhythm of his demanding career. His emotional life, however, was as streamlined as his schedule. Relationships were often fleeting, maintained through polite texts and occasional dinners. Pets were an unimaginable responsibility, a messy complication in his perfectly ordered existence. His focus was always forward, always on the next promotion, the next big deal. He saw himself as a logical, rational being, detached from the unpredictable messines of deep emotions. He believed empathy was a distraction, an impediment to efficiency. His heart, carefully guarded by years of intense focus on professional achievement, was rarely called upon. He rarely took breaks, and when he did, they were planned. A quick run, a precisely timed coffee. Spontaneity was not in his vocabulary. His weekend relaxation often involved catching up on industry reports or planning the next week's strategies. He considered himself content, self-sufficient, needing nothing more than his career to define him. He believed that genuine connection, the kind that might melt your heart, was something seen in movies, not in the real world he inhabited. His interactions with animals were limited to the occasional squirrel he might see in the park, barely registered, easily dismissed. He saw the world as a series of problems to be solved, not as a tapestry of living, breathing, feeling beings. Parents, now retired, lived a comfortable life in the suburbs. Their calls were mostly about his achievements, his rapid ascent. They were proud, but there was a quiet undercurrent of longing for a softer side of him, a warmth they remembered from his childhood, but rarely saw anymore. Michael, however, was oblivious. He was too busy building his empire, too focused on the next step up the ladder, to notice the subtle emotional voids in his perfectly constructed life. He moved through the world like a perfectly tuned machine, efficient, powerful, but utterly devoid of warmth. It was a rare afternoon, when Michael found himself with an unexpected hour of free time. His flight for an important business trip had been delayed. He decided to take a quick walk through the local city park, a place he usually only ran through. He was still mentally reviewing his presentation, his phone clutched in his hand, his gaze fixed on the asphalt path dot as he walked. A faint, almost imperceptible sound broke through his thoughts. A tiny, distressed whimper. He initially ignored it, assuming it was a distant child or a bird. But the sound persisted, small and fragile. It was unusual enough to make him pause, to momentarily lift his gaze from his phone. He looked around. The park was mostly empty, the usual afternoon crowd having dissipated. The whimper seemed to be coming from a cluster of overgrown bush near a large oak tree. Michael felt a flicker of annoyance. He didn't have time for distractions. But the sound, so vulnerable, was oddly persistent. Against his better judgment, he walked towards the bushes, his logical mind telling him it was probably nothing. He pushed aside a few branches, and what he saw made him freeze. Huddled deep within the tangled undergrowth, shivering uncontrollably, was a tiny creature. A kitten, so small, so fragile, it looked no bigger than his hand. Its fur was matted with dirt, its eyes wide with fear and a profound, heartbreaking vulnerability. It was utterly alone, abandoned, its tiny whimper, a desperate plea for help. Michael stared. His logical brain processed the situation. A stray animal, probably sick, a potential health risk, definitely a time-consuming problem. His instinct was to walk away, to call animal control, to detach. But something held him rooted to the spot. The kitten's eyes. They were huge emerald green and filled with a raw, innocent terror that pierced through his carefully constructed walls of indifference. The kitten whimpered again, a tiny, almost inaudible sound, and then, slowly, tentatively, it stretched out a trembling paw towards him. It was a gesture of pure vulnerability, a desperate plea for connection from a creature that had nothing left to give but its fragile hope. And in that precise moment, something shifted within Michael. The cold logic, the practiced detachment, the carefully guarded heart, they all melted. Without thinking, without any logical analysis, Michael slowly knelt down. His hand, usually reserved for power suits and firm handshakes, trembled slightly as he reached out. The kitten flinched, then, surprisingly, leaned into his touch. Michael gently scooped up the tiny creature. It was feather-light, its fur surprisingly soft despite the dirt. He felt its tiny heart pounding frantically against his palm. And then the kitten, exhausted and afraid, let out a soft, contented purr, a tiny vibration that reverberated through Michael's entire being. In that instant, the world went quiet. The city hum faded. His phone, forgotten in his pocket, felt like a distant relic. All that existed was the warmth of the tiny creature in his hands, its fragile purr, and the profound, overwhelming wave of compassion that washed over him. Was a feeling so intense, so unexpected, it brought an unfamiliar sting to his eyes. He didn't just see a stray animal. He saw pure, innocent vulnerability. And he felt a connection so deep, so immediate, that it utterly melted his heart. He knew instinctively that he couldn't leave this tiny life to fend for itself. His entire perspective on what truly mattered had just shifted. In the warmth of a kitten's purr, Michael's life, once a predictable rhythm of corporate demands, was now delightfully, unexpectedly chaotic. He took the kitten home, a tiny bundle of matted fur and purrs. He rushed to the nearest pet store, buying kitten formula, a tiny bed, toys. He spent hours researching kitten care, his meticulous mind now dedicated to this tiny, fragile life. He named her Hope, a name that resonated with the unexpected light she had brought into his life. Hope was sick. Very sick. Michael spent the next few days in a blur of vet visits, sleepless nights, and anxious monitoring. He was exhausted, but for the first time in years, he felt alive. Every tiny purr, every hesitant lick from Hope was a reward more valuable than any bonus or promotion. He found himself talking to her, whispering words of encouragement, promising her a safe, loving home. His heart, once a carefully guarded vault, was now wide open, vulnerable, and overflowing with an unfamiliar emotion. Unconditional love. Hope slowly recovered. Her fur grew soft and shiny. Her eyes sparkled with mischievous curiosity. She followed Michael everywhere, a tiny shadow, a constant reminder of the profound shift in his life. Michael, once a solitary figure, now found joy in the simplest things. Watching Hope chase a dust bunny, feeling her warm weight curled up on his chest as he slept, hearing her contented purr fill his once silent apartment, his colleagues noticed a change. Michael was still efficient, still driven, but there was a new warmth in his eyes, a subtle softness to his demeanor. He started talking about Hope, showing pictures, a genuine smile replacing his practiced politeness. He found himself more patient, more empathetic with his team members, his new perspective on vulnerability bleeding into his professional life. He even started taking short breaks, sitting in the park, simply observing the world, seeing the hidden beauty he had once overlooked. His parents, initially surprised by his sudden adoption of a pet, noticed the profound change in their son. He sounded happier, more connected, more himself. They saw the warmth, the joy that had been missing for so long. They visited him often, not to discuss his career, but to play with Hope, to witness the quiet transformation in their son. Hope wasn't just a pet. She was a catalyst. She opened Michael's heart, tearing down the walls he had built, allowing emotions to flow freely. Again, he started volunteering at local animal shelters, dedicating his weekends to helping other abandoned animals find homes. He used his marketing skills to create powerful adoption campaigns, telling the stories of forgotten creatures, helping them find their own forever families. He even adopted another timid cat, a shy older rescue, giving it a second chance at love. His life, once defined by numbers and achievements, was now filled with a rich tapestry of compassion, connection, and purpose. He understood that true success wasn't about the size of his bank account, but about the depth of his heart. He learned that the greatest joy came not from control, but from the messy, unpredictable, overwhelming beauty of giving and receiving unconditional love. His journey was a testament to the truth that sometimes the smallest, most vulnerable beings can bring the biggest, most life-changing gifts. Michael's story is a beautiful reminder that our hearts are capable of boundless love, even when we think they are hardened or closed off. It shows us that compassion knows no boundaries, no species, no logical explanation. Sometimes it's the most vulnerable among us who teach us the most profound lessons about connection, about worth, about the sheer joy of simply being loved. His journey from a detached corporate executive to a passionate animal advocate, all sparked by a tiny, abandoned kitten, is a powerful testament to the transformative power of empathy. His tale is a beacon of hope for anyone feeling disconnected, for anyone who believes their heart is too guarded to feel deeply. It reminds us that opening ourselves up to love, even in its smallest, most unexpected forms, can lead to the most profound and heartwarming changes in our lives. Because when you allow yourself to truly see a creature in need, when you offer a simple act of compassion, the moment itself becomes a gift, capable of melting your heart and reshaping your entire world. So the next time you encounter a small creature in need, or feel a flicker of compassion for a vulnerable soul, remember Michael and Hope. Remember that the simplest act of kindness, the quiet decision to extend a hand, can unlock a love so pure, so overwhelming, that it will bring tears of joy and transform not just their life, but profoundly, beautifully, your own. If Michael and Hope's incredibly heartwarming story touched your heart, if it reminded you of the profound power of compassion and the unexpected joy that animals bring, please take a moment to like this video. Your likes help us share these powerful true stories of connection and love with more people who need to hear them. And if you're moved by true tales of the human spirit, unexpected bonds, and life's beautiful transformations, be sure to subscribe to Heartfelt Chronicles. We bring you inspiring stories every week that remind us of the extraordinary good in the world. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss another journey with us. Have you ever experienced an unexpected connection with an animal that melted your heart and changed your life? Share your heartwarming experiences and thoughts in the comments below. Let's celebrate these everyday miracles that truly fill our lives with joy. Thank you for watching. And remember, sometimes the greatest love comes in the smallest, furriest packages. See you in the next video.